Imagine finding a single penny, a coin so small, so ordinary, that most people would toss it into a jar and forget about it. Now imagine that same penny being worth hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. Sounds impossible, right? Well, what if I told you that a 1940 Lincoln Wheat Penny, without a mint mark, has been hiding a secret that could change someone's life forever? This isn't just another story about an old coin. This is about a piece of copper that slipped quietly into circulation during one of the most turbulent decades in American history, just before the world plunged into war. Millions of these pennies were minted in Philadelphia in 1940. To most, they were just spare change. But hidden among them are error coins, coins with flaws, mistakes, and anomalies so rare that collectors would pay nearly $1 million, sometimes more, just to own one. Think about it. You might have seen these coins in your grandfather's drawer, in an old coffee can, or buried inside a box of forgotten keepsakes. And while you saw just 1 cent, the right buyer might see an opportunity worth nearly $1 million. 1 cent transforming into a fortune. But why? What makes the 1940 wheat penny without a mint mark so special? The truth lies in the errors. Tiny, almost invisible mistakes from the minting process that slipped through unnoticed. Some have double dies, where the design is accidentally struck twice, making the words or Lincoln's features look shadowed or ghost-like. Others have repunched dates, off-center strikes, or even lamination errors where the metal peels slightly like old paint. These errors, far from being imperfections, are treasures. Collectors crave them because they represent accidents that should never have existed. And the rarer the accident, the higher the price. Now here's where it gets interesting. Some 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln cents with dramatic double-die obverse errors have shattered records at auction. We're not talking a few $1,000s. We're talking 6 figures, 7 figures. Coins graded in pristine condition by top grading companies like PCGS or NGC can fetch prices so high they sound unreal. At the top end of the market, a flawless 1940 no-mint mark wheat penny with a jaw-dropping error is currently valued as high as $999,000. Yes, $999,000 for a single penny. Pause for a moment and let that sink in. A coin most people wouldn't bend over to pick up on the street could be worth more than your house, more than your retirement account, more than most people earn in a decade. But here's the question you should be asking yourself. Do you have one? Could you be holding $1 million penny without even realizing it? Before you dismiss the thought, consider this. Thousands of these coins are still out there. They sit quietly in coin jars, shoeboxes, and old collections passed down through generations. Most people never look closely enough to see the errors. Most people never bother to check the date, the strike, the details in Lincoln's face or the letters along the rim. That's why so many fortunes go undiscovered. And that's also why you're here watching this video. Because deep down you're wondering, is it possible? Could a penny lying forgotten in your home hold the key to financial freedom? Imagine the moment of discovery. You're holding a magnifying glass over a 1940 wheat penny, and suddenly you see it. The doubling on "In God We Trust," the strange offset on the date, the ghostly shadow in Lincoln's eye. Your heart skips a beat. You realize what you're holding isn't just a coin. It's a ticket to a life where money is no longer a constant worry, where dreams of wealth and freedom finally become reality. But here's the catch. Time is working against you. Every year, collectors are buying up these rare coins, locking them away in private vaults. The supply shrinks, the values climb higher, and opportunities vanish. That penny in your drawer could be worth $10 today. But in the right condition, with the right error, it could be worth $999,000 tomorrow. The difference is whether you check, whether you act, or whether you let the chance slip through your fingers forever. And here's a twist you probably didn't expect. Not every valuable 1940 penny has an obvious error. Even high-grade, flawless no-mint mark coins, perfectly preserved with sharp detail and blazing luster, are skyrocketing in value simply because collectors are desperate for quality. Some have sold for 5 figures without any visible errors at all. So even if your coin looks normal, don't assume it's worthless. So what should you do right now? Start looking. Dig out those jars, those drawers, those old boxes of coins. Check every 1940 wheat penny. Use a magnifier, search for doubling, look for off-center strikes. And if you think you've found something, don't sell it to the first person who offers you a few dollars. Get it authenticated. Have it graded. Protect it. Because once that coin is verified, you're not holding a penny anymore, you're holding a small fortune. Think about the lives that have already been changed. Ordinary people discovering coins in inherited collections, realizing they're sitting on 6- or 7-figure treasures. Stories that sound like myths until you see the auction receipts, until you see the headlines. That could be your story. That could be your moment. So ask yourself this. Are you going to keep ignoring the pennies in your house? Or are you going to look closer? Will you let opportunity pass you by? Or will you seize the chance to turn a forgotten coin into the discovery of a lifetime? Because right now, somewhere in America, someone is holding a 1940 wheat penny worth nearly $1 million. The only question is, could it be you? A simple brown Lincoln cent, minted in 1941, no mint mark, the kind you've probably spent hundreds of times without a second thought. What if I told you that this tiny copper coin, a coin weighing just over 3 grams, might hold the key to life-changing wealth? Stay with me, because the story of the 1941 wheat penny is one of hidden errors, shocking values, and the rare chance to turn pocket change into fortune. The year was 1941. America was standing on the edge of war. Steel and copper were about to become precious commodities, and the humble Lincoln cent was rolling off the presses in staggering numbers. Over 887 million were struck that year at the Philadelphia Mint, and most of them, just ordinary pennies. But here's the catch. Among that flood of copper, a handful slipped through with mistakes, flaws, and misstrikes so rare that collectors today will fight tooth and nail to own them. The kind of fight that sends prices skyrocketing, from a few dollars to hundreds of thousands, even millions. Now, you might be wondering, how can something so common be so valuable? That's the beauty of coin collecting. It's not just about age, it's about anomalies. The tiniest error, invisible to the untrained eye, can transform a penny into a treasure. A double die, where the lettering looks like it has a faint shadow. A repunched mint mark. A die crack splitting Lincoln's profile. Even a simple off-center strike can be worth thousands. Imagine staring at a penny that looks almost normal, until you tilt it just right and see the hidden doubling on the date. That moment of discovery? Pure adrenaline. But here's where it gets shocking. A pristine 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat cent, preserved in nearly perfect condition, has sold for jaw-dropping amounts at auction. One legendary example crossed the block for over $999,000. Yes, a coin that once bought a stick of gum is now worth more than a house. Let that sink in for a second. A penny that could pay off your mortgage, buy you a new car, and still leave you with change. So how do you know if you have one of these miracle coins hiding in plain sight? The secret lies in the details. Check the obverse, that's the front with Lincoln's portrait. Is the date sharp, or does it show doubling? Look closely at the "In God We Trust." On rare errors, the letters almost seem to echo. Flip it over to the reverse. Do the wheat stalks have crisp, full lines, or are they blurred? The higher the grade, the higher the price. Coins graded MS-67, meaning almost flawless, are the ones that break records. And here's the twist. The difference between an $8 penny and an $800,000 penny is sometimes nothing more than condition and a magnifying glass. Now let me hit you with a question that might keep you up tonight. How many 1941 pennies have you handled in your lifetime? Hundreds? Maybe thousands? How many of those could have been hiding one of these rare errors? The thought alone is enough to make you want to raid every coin jar, every dresser drawer, every dusty shoebox of change you've ever ignored. Because while you were letting those pennies sit, collectors were quietly amassing fortunes, cashing in on coins that others overlooked. And just when you think you've heard it all, consider this. Many of these treasures are still out there. Experts believe a good portion of high-grade 1941 wheat cents remain in circulation or forgotten in private collections. Every estate sale, every flea market, every coin jar at the bank could be holding a jackpot waiting for the right set of eyes. The question is, will you be the one to find it? Here's the sobering reality. Most 1941 pennies are worth only a few cents. That's the trap. That's what lulls people into tossing them aside, never knowing what they're giving up. But hidden in that ocean of copper are the outliers, the freaks of history, the coins that transform lives. It's like searching for a needle in a haystack. Except this needle could buy you a yacht. So what does this all mean for you, right now? It means opportunity. It means urgency, because collectors aren't slowing down. The market for rare coins is hotter than ever, and those who sit on their pennies, literally, are letting potential fortunes slip through their fingers. A 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln cent in average condition? Maybe $10-20. But the same coin in high-end condition, $10,000, $50,000, $500,000, and yes, in exceptional cases, close to $1 million. Think about that next time you walk past a dusty jar of change. Now, imagine selling one of these coins. Imagine that wire transfer hitting your bank account. Imagine the trips, the home upgrades, the freedom from debt. It all starts with one coin that someone else might ignore, but you recognize for what it is. A ticket to wealth. So here's the challenge. Tonight, when you're done watching this video, go and look. Search every penny you have, every drawer, every jar, every forgotten box in the attic. Because the clock is ticking, the market is moving, and the 1941 wheat cent could be sitting in your possession right now. Ordinary in appearance, extraordinary in value, and waiting for someone bold enough to claim it. A single coin. A shocking error. A fortune hiding in plain sight. The 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny is not just history you can hold in your hand. It might be the $1-million secret you've been sitting on all along. Coin so ordinary at first glance that millions passed it by without a second thought. Yet today, a single specimen has been whispered about with a market value soaring to nearly $1 million. And in some rare cases, collectors estimate the price could climb into the millions. What if that coin is hiding in your attic, in an old coffee can, or buried inside a forgotten jar of change? The year is 1942. America is at war. Factories are pouring out tanks, planes, and ammunition. Copper, the essential metal for wartime machinery, becomes precious. And in this environment, a tiny 1-cent coin, the Lincoln Wheat Penny, is quietly struck at the Philadelphia Mint, without a mint mark. Millions were produced, but hidden among them are errors, varieties, and secrets so rare that the numismatic world trembles every time one surfaces. Here's where the story takes a turn most people never expect. These weren't just ordinary pennies. Certain 1942 wheat cents carry mistakes in their design, striking, or metal composition. Some coins show double dies, where the inscriptions appear ghosted or shadowed, like a second image burned onto the surface. Others contain subtle planchet errors, where the metal itself reveals flaws from the minting process. To the untrained eye, it's just a beat-up old penny. But to a seasoned collector, it's a treasure map etched into copper. Now, let me ask you this. If you found a 1942 penny in your pocket change, would you toss it aside as worthless? Or would you stop and look closer, knowing that a single hidden error could transform that coin into a golden ticket? That's the razor's edge every coin collector lives on. The thrill of possibility versus the fear of letting fortune slip through your fingers. And here's the kicker. While most 1942 wheat cents trade hands for just a few dollars, the high-grade, error-laden rarities have reached shocking valuations. One verified specimen fetched close to $1 million. Current appraisals suggest the finest examples are worth as much as $999,000, edging toward the realm of modern legends. Imagine turning a penny into nearly $1 million in cash. It sounds impossible, but it's very real. Think about it. How many of us have inherited boxes of coins from parents or grandparents, shoved in the back of a closet, gathering dust? How many have jars of loose change tucked away, untouched for decades? What if inside those piles sits a 1942 wheat penny that could rewrite your financial destiny? This isn't just about coins. This is about the possibility of sudden wealth hiding in plain sight. But here's the suspense. How do you know if your penny is the right one? The errors can be elusive. Look for doubled lettering on "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." Inspect the date. Some rare misstrikes reveal faint doubling there as well. Examine the rim for irregularities, the edges for faint cracks. Even the sheen of the copper can whisper secrets, because not all 1942 cents were struck from the same composition. And when you find one that matches, your heart won't just skip a beat, it'll start racing. Collectors hunt these coins like treasure, and auctions explode with bidding wars whenever one appears. Picture a packed auction hall, the tension so thick you can feel it. The bidding climbs 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, and still the paddles rise. Then silence as the hammer falls. A penny has just changed hands for the price of a luxury home, so ask yourself, what would you do with that kind of money? Pay off every debt? Buy the house of your dreams? Retire early and live free? This is why the 1942 wheat penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of hope, a chance at wealth disguised as something ordinary. And that's why people like you, ordinary Americans with extraordinary dreams, need to take a closer look. But time is critical. Every year, fewer of these hidden treasures remain in circulation. Many are locked away in private collections, never to be seen again. The window is closing, and those who act now are the ones who reap the rewards. So tonight, after this video ends, I want you to do something simple but powerful. Grab that jar of coins. Open that old box. Sort through every Lincoln cent you find. Examine them carefully, because the fortune of a lifetime could be staring you right in the face. Remember, in 1942, a penny was worth just 1 cent. But today, the right 1942 wheat penny, the one with no mint mark, hiding its rare errors, could be worth nearly $1 million. And if history has taught us anything, it's that opportunities don't wait. They vanish. Don't let this one vanish. Your future wealth could be hiding in the palm of your hand, waiting for you to see it. The question is, will you? Why would a penny from 1943, a time when America was pouring every ounce of energy into the war effort, be so valuable today? The answer is shocking, because during that year, the U.S. Mint made a radical decision. They stopped using copper for pennies, reserving it for ammunition and military equipment. Instead, they struck cents from steel, coated them with zinc. They were supposed to be uniform, flawless, and forgettable. But mistakes happen. And those mistakes turned a common penny into one of the rarest treasures of American coinage. Here's the twist. While almost every cent in 1943 was steel, a few copper planchets, the coin blanks left over from 1942, accidentally slipped into the presses. When struck with Lincoln's profile, they became anomalies, ghosts of the past, hiding in plain sight. These are the 1943 copper wheat pennies, and collectors around the globe are willing to pay staggering sums for them. But here's where it gets thrilling. Not all 1943 pennies are created equal, and many hold errors invisible to the casual eye. Some have doubled features, letters and numbers that look faintly doubled under magnification. Others reveal off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or unusual die cracks that snake across the surface like lightning bolts. To most people, it's a penny. To an expert, it's a golden ticket. Picture this: a rusty old coffee can in your garage, filled with loose change passed down from your grandparents. Buried inside, a darkened 1943 wheat penny that looks unremarkable, until you place it under a magnifier and realize it's copper, not steel. That tiny detail could catapult you into the millionaires club overnight. In fact, a 1943 copper cent has fetched well over $1.7 million at auction. And right now, the market is hotter than ever. One verified example is currently valued at an astonishing $991,000. Yes, you heard that right. $991,000 for a single coin smaller than a dime. Let me ask you something. How many times have you dismissed a handful of coins as pocket change? Maybe tossed them into a jar or left them rattling in your car? What if one of those coins is your ticket out of debt, your ticket to freedom, your ticket to a life of luxury you've only dreamed about? The fear is real. What if you've already held one of these treasures and spent it without knowing? Imagine buying a pack of gum and handing over a penny worth of fortune. This happened before. Stories circulate of rare cents turning up in piggy banks, estate sales, even flea markets. That's why collectors call the 1943 copper cent the holy grail of Lincoln pennies. Because it lurks in unexpected places, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and bold ambition to claim it. But here's the urgency. Every day, more and more people learn about these coins. Competition grows fiercer. Dealers are snapping them up. Collectors are hunting relentlessly. And the window of opportunity is narrowing. If you find one, the time to act is now. Markets shift, but right now the appetite is insatiable, with wealthy buyers willing to pay record-breaking prices. So how do you know if you're holding the right penny? Step 1. Grab a magnet. A steel 1943 cent will cling to it. A copper cent won't. That simple test could be the most valuable 5 seconds of your life. Step 2. Check for weight. Copper cents are slightly heavier than their steel counterparts. And step 3. Look for errors, doubled dates, missing letters, or strange textures. Each imperfection could add zeros to your payday. And here's a thought to jolt you awake. While the famous copper errors steal the spotlight, other rare variants exist. A small handful of 1943 pennies were struck on bronze planchets intended for foreign coins, creating ultra-rare hybrids. A mistake at the mint, an oversight during wartime chaos, and now, a jackpot for you if you're lucky enough to find one. So ask yourself, have you really looked through that dusty jar of wheat pennies? Have you examined those old rolls tucked away in your drawer? Because the coin sitting quietly in your possession might not just be worth a few cents. It might be worth a house, a retirement, a lifetime of financial security. The truth is, the 1943 no-mint mark wheat penny is more than just a coin. It's a story of wartime sacrifice, human error, and the relentless pursuit of wealth. It's proof that treasures still exist in plain sight, waiting for someone bold enough to discover them. And maybe that someone is you. So the next time you hold a penny, don't dismiss it. Hold it to the light, test it, scrutinize it. Because hidden in its worn edges could be the key to your wealthiest chapter yet. The opportunity is real, the rewards are staggering, and the only question left is, will you be the one to claim it? Your $1,000,000 penny could be closer than you think. Now, before you dismiss it as just another old coin, pause for a moment. Because history has left us a breadcrumb trail of mysteries, and this little piece of copper carries errors and stories that have stunned collectors, shocked auction houses, and turned ordinary people into overnight millionaires. The story begins in the chaos of 1944. The United States was still deep in the Second World War. Resources were stretched thin, and even something as simple as the metal used for pennies was being rethought. In 1943, pennies were made of steel to save copper for the war effort. But in 1944, the mint returned to copper mostly. Here's where the mystery begins. A handful of pennies slipped through the cracks. Mistakes, accidents, coins struck on leftover steel planchets from the year before. Others struck with double dies, off-center strikes, or subtle variations so minute that only a sharp eye or sheer luck could catch them. These are the so-called hidden errors. To the untrained eye, they look ordinary. But to the collector community, they are golden tickets. And here's the kicker. One such 1944 Lincoln cent sold for nearly $2 million. Yes, you heard that right. Penny, worth more than a mansion. Imagine digging through your coin jar and realizing you've been sitting on a fortune this entire time. But wait, how do you know if you have the right one? That's where things get thrilling. The Philadelphia Mint, the one responsible for coins with no mint mark, produced over 1 billion wheat pennies that year. Most are worth just a few cents today. Common, forgettable. But among them are the rare errors, coins with doubled lettering on "In God We Trust," coins struck on the wrong planchet, coins that escaped quality control in a way that makes them priceless today. Let me ask you, when was the last time you really looked at your pennies? Not just glanced, but really studied them? Because every now and then, someone discovers a life-changing treasure hiding in plain sight. One man in Pennsylvania found a 1944 steel cent in his father's belongings. He later sold it at auction for over $1 million. That's not rumor, that's fact. And the market right now? Hotter than ever. In recent years, a 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny in pristine condition fetched $983,000 at auction. Nearly $1 million for a coin most people would toss in a parking lot. Demand is surging, fueled by collectors who know these hidden errors are disappearing into private collections forever. The opportunities to find one are shrinking every single day. Here's a thought. What if your childhood piggy bank holds the very coin that could set you free from bills, debts, and worries? What if that dusty jar in the attic has been holding the keys to a wealthy lifestyle all along? Think about the irony. A penny that buys you nothing at the store could buy you everything you've ever dreamed of. And it's not just about the money. It's about being part of a story, owning a piece of history forged during America's most turbulent years. Every coin tells a tale, but some tales are worth millions. Now, picture this. You dump out your change, a coin rolls across the table, and something about it catches your eye. You grab a magnifying glass and notice a doubling in the letters. Or maybe the color looks just a bit off, steel instead of copper. Your heart races. Your palms sweat. Could this be it? Could this be the coin that changes everything? That's the thrill collectors live for. That's the rush that turns everyday people into treasure hunters. And right now, with values climbing, with demand surging, the timing couldn't be better. So the question is, will you keep walking past those pennies lying on the ground? Or will you pick them up and check? Will you dig through that old coffee can of change in the closet? Or will you let a fortune slip through your fingers unnoticed? Because make no mistake, the 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark is out there, hiding, waiting, and someone is going to find it. Someone is going to cash in on the $1 million miracle. The only question left is, will it be you? Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You're digging through an old jar of pennies, coins that have sat untouched for decades. You pull out a dull brown cent from 2009. It looks ordinary, forgettable, worth 1 cent. But then you hear the whispers, the rumors, the stories. Could this penny be the key to unimaginable wealth? Could this small, forgotten coin be hiding a secret worth millions? That's the mystery that has fueled late-night searches, desperate eBay listings, and viral headlines. The 2009 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. A coin some say is the modern-day lottery ticket. A coin others swear is a myth. But before you run to cash in your jar of change, let's pull back the curtain. Because behind the promise of instant fortune lies a story stranger, deeper, and more revealing than you might expect. Here's where it begins. The year 2009. The nation was celebrating the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The U.S. Mint released 4 special designs for the penny, each one telling a different chapter of Lincoln's life. Collectors were buzzing. Everyday people started saving pennies again. And somewhere in the midst of this celebration, a myth was born. Whispers spread about a rare coin, a Lincoln cent with no mint mark. Some claimed it was a government mistake. Others said it was a deliberate secret release. The legend grew. But let me ask you this. When was the last time you actually flipped a penny over and checked for a mint mark? Exactly. It's not something the average person notices until they hear there might be a fortune at stake. But here's the twist. Every single 2009 Lincoln cent struck in Philadelphia already had no mint mark. That's normal. That's how Philadelphia coins are made. The supposed error wasn't an error at all. It was business as usual. And yet, in the echo chamber of the internet, a harmless fact mutated into a frenzy. $1 million penny, the headlines screamed. Social media amplified the myth, and suddenly everyone wanted to believe. Why? Because deep down, we all crave that story. The story of the little guy who stumbles on a forgotten treasure. The idea that wealth could be hiding in plain sight, sitting in your pocket change, waiting for you to notice. It's irresistible. And when people are hungry for hope, myths spread like wildfire. But don't tune out yet, because while most of these coins are indeed worth face value, there's another layer. The truth isn't as simple as worthless or worth millions. The real excitement lies in the hidden errors. Off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks that cut across Lincoln's profile like scars of history. Rare variations so subtle you might miss them with the naked eye. Yet they can transform a humble cent into a collector's prize worth hundreds, sometimes even thousands. Picture this. You're sifting through a pile of change, and you find a 2009 penny with an extra thick date or lettering that looks doubled. That's not your imagination. That's a double die error. Or maybe you notice the design doesn't quite fit, shifted slightly to the side. That's an off-center strike. These are the real jackpots, rare, elusive, and valuable. Not millions, but enough to make your heart race when you realize you've just spotted one. Now pause with me for a second. Think about this. How many of these coins have already passed through your hands without a second glance? How many treasures slipped away simply because you didn't know what to look for? That question alone has kept collectors awake at night, poring over jars of change by lamplight, driven by equal parts fear of missing out and thrill of discovery. So what is the realistic market value of the 2009 no-mint mark Lincoln cent? For the vast majority, 1 cent. Maybe a couple of dollars if it's uncirculated, shiny, and perfect. For coins with genuine errors, values can climb dramatically depending on rarity and demand. Some bring in $50, others $200, occasionally more. Respectable. Exciting, but not life-changing, not mansion on the beach money. And here's where the hard truth cuts through the dream. Those million-dollar stories you see floating around, they're designed to hook your attention, not to reflect reality. They play on our desire for quick riches, our hunger to escape the grind. But in numismatics, wealth isn't found in lottery ticket myths. It's built through knowledge, patience, and the sharp eyes of those who know exactly what to look for. So the next time you hear a wild claim about a penny worth $1 million, smile. Because now you know the secret. The real treasures aren't always the ones people shout about. They're the hidden errors, the overlooked details, the subtle variations that separate common change from rare history. And maybe, just maybe, the next coin you pull from your pocket could be one of them. Not a $1 million fantasy, but a real-world discovery that proves the world still has secrets worth uncovering. Because in the end, the story isn't just about coins. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the hope of discovery, and the knowledge that fortune often hides in the smallest places. So before you cash in that jar of pennies, take one last look. Who knows what you might find staring back at you from the face of Lincoln? Would you like me to tighten this into a sharper 10-minute pacing with suggested pauses and emphasis cues for a faceless voiceover, so it flows perfectly for YouTube retention? Imagine for a moment that sitting in your pocket right now is a tiny copper-colored coin, worth a fortune. A coin so ordinary, so familiar, that you've probably tossed hundreds into vending machines without a second thought. But what if I told you that one version of the 2010 Lincoln cent, the one without a mint mark, has fueled whispers of hidden errors, secret values, and shocking million-dollar claims? Now here's the twist. Some of those claims are true. Others, nothing but myths, crafted to prey on your hopes of instant wealth. And the line between the two is razor-thin. So let's dive in. Because if you think you might be holding on to one of these 2010 no-mint mark pennies, what you're about to learn could mean the difference between cashing in or cashing out empty-handed. The story begins in 2010, when the U.S. Mint released a flood of Lincoln cents into circulation. Most carried their mint marks proudly, D for Denver, S for San Francisco. But millions bore nothing at all. Just a clean, simple design with no letter beneath the date. Instantly, collectors started buzzing. Could this be an error? Could this be the key to untold wealth? And here's where the suspense builds. Some coins truly did leave the mint with striking flaws, double dies, misaligned strikes, even off-center impressions that made them stand out. Those errors exist. They're real. And yes, they can command hundreds, even thousands of dollars from the right collector. But let's pause. What about the mythical $1,000,000 penny? The viral headlines, the viral videos, the get-rich-quick stories that spread across the internet like wildfire? Here's the cold truth. The vast majority of 2010 no-mint mark cents are worth 1 cent. Just one. You could dump them into a Coinstar machine and never think twice. And yet, some aren't. This is where things get thrilling. Imagine finding a coin where Lincoln's eye looks doubled, or where the date itself appears shadowed. Imagine a penny struck so far off-center that part of the design is missing altogether. These are the errors that transform pocket change into treasure if you know what you're looking for. But wait, why do people still believe in the $1,000,000 myth? Because every great treasure story needs a villain. And here, it's misinformation. Viral articles exaggerating values, blurry eBay listings asking outrageous sums, desperate sellers claiming their coin is rare. The truth? Collectors don't pay for myths. They pay for authenticity. They pay for error details that can be verified, graded, and proven to us. Oh, what's the realistic market worth? A pristine 2010 no-mint mark cent without any errors might fetch a small premium if it's uncirculated. Maybe a couple of bucks to a collector building a date set. A dramatic, eye-catching mint error could climb into the hundreds. A truly exceptional example, certified by grading giants like PCGS or NGC, might break into the low thousands. But $1 million? That's the dream that sells clicks, not coins. Still, don't let this reality kill your curiosity. Because here's the secret few reveal. The thrill isn't only in the value. It's in the hunt. Every coin you pull from change holds a story, and sometimes a surprise. That thrill of discovery, the rush of possibility, that's what keeps treasure seekers searching. 1 penny at a time. So what should you do if you think you found something? Slow down. Don't rush to sell it online for an imaginary price tag. Get it authenticated. Compare it under magnification. Look for doubling, cracks, off-centers. Anything that sets it apart. And if you're serious, send it for grading. Because here's the ultimate revelation. Most fortunes aren't stumbled upon by accident. They're uncovered by those who pay attention, those who take the time to learn the difference between hype and reality. So maybe that 2010 penny in your jar isn't worth $1 million. But maybe, just maybe, it's worth more than you think. And the next time you find one, will you dismiss it as just another cent? Or will you dare to look closer, to chase the mystery, to unlock the possibility that your smallest coin could hold your biggest story? Because somewhere out there, hidden among the ordinary, are the extraordinary few. And one of them could be waiting in your pocket right now. Collectors whisper about it. Internet forums buzz with rumors. Viral headlines scream about everyday people stumbling upon pocket change that could buy a mansion, a sports car, maybe even freedom from debt forever. But here's the burning question. Is the 2011 no-mint mark penny truly a golden ticket, or just another ordinary coin wrapped in myths and wishful thinking? The story of this coin begins with a strange absence. Usually, pennies minted in Denver carry a tiny D. Those from San Francisco get an S. But the ones from Philadelphia? Traditionally, they're left blank, no mint mark at all. To the untrained eye, that little detail fuels dreams of rarity. To the hopeful seller, it feels like treasure. And yet, is that really the truth? Before we peel back the mystery, let's pause. Imagine posting that coin online, believing it's worth hundreds of thousands, only to hear crickets. Or worse, to be told it's worth just a cent. The crushing disappointment, The realization that maybe, just maybe, the legends aren't what they seem. But don't lose hope, because hidden in the shadows of ordinary coins, real errors do exist, and they're worth hunting for. Now, let's talk about those errors. In 2011, like every other year, the mint produced billions of pennies. But occasionally, machines misalign, dies crack, plating blisters, double dies slip into circulation. These are the tiny flaws, the beautiful accidents, that turn a simple coin into something rare. A doubled inscription, a die chip that looks like an extra letter, a rim that swells, uneven and strange. These are the details collectors crave, the details that can push a penny from 1 cent to hundreds, sometimes thousands. But here's the twist. None of those errors make the 2011 no-mint mark penny a $1 million miracle. That myth? It's born from confusion, exaggerated tales, and the dream of instant wealth. The truth? Most 2011 pennies, even those with minor quirks, hover between a few cents and a few dollars in real market value. Harsh? Maybe. But honesty is power. Still, don't dismiss the thrill just yet, because every now and then, a rare misstrike or dramatic double die sneaks into circulation, commanding serious attention. Imagine holding a coin struck off-center, or one with a bold doubling visible to the naked eye. Those coins don't just whisper, they shout. And when collectors hear that shout, they pay it. So here's where the suspense tightens. You might be asking, if it's not worth millions, then why bother looking? The answer is simple, because hidden value isn't only about dollar signs. It's about the hunt, the possibility, the knowledge that something extraordinary could be sitting in your change right now. And yes, some 2011 pennies with dramatic errors have sold for hundreds of dollars. Not a mansion, perhaps, but certainly enough to turn heads, to fuel dreams, to keep that jar of coins far from ordinary. But let's face the reality together. If someone tells you your plain 2011 no-mint mark penny is worth life-changing money, they're selling a fantasy. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 4 billion of them. They're common, they're everywhere, and without a dramatic error, their value won't buy more than a cup of coffee. Yet, here's the final revelation. Knowledge is your greatest weapon. Every time you learn the difference between fact and myth, between hype and reality, you step closer to true discovery. Because somewhere in that jar, in that drawer, in that roll of pennies from the bank, there just might be a coin with a hidden flaw, one that collectors are desperately waiting for. So ask yourself, will you keep chasing the $1 million myth, or will you sharpen your eye, uncover the real treasures, and become the kind of collector who knows the truth? The thrill isn't in the headline, it's in the hunt. And maybe, just maybe, the next coin you turn over could be the one that changes everything. Now go check your change, because fortune doesn't wait. It hides in plain sight. But what if I told you that in 2012, one of those very pennies began stirring rumors of hidden mistakes, shocking values, and the possibility of turning pocket change into life-changing wealth? Suddenly that dull little coin doesn't feel so dull anymore, does it? For years, whispers spread across coin forums, late-night articles, and viral social media posts. The 2012 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. Some called it a modern rarity. Others claimed it could make ordinary Americans overnight millionaires. A few even swore they'd seen them sold for staggering amounts. But what's true? What's myth? And most importantly, could that penny sitting in your drawer actually be worth more than the paper bills in your wallet? Let's take a step back. In 2012, the U.S. Mint released billions, yes, billions of Lincoln cents. Denver got its D. Philadelphia, as always, struck coins without a mint mark. And that's the first twist. No mint mark does not mean rare. Every Philadelphia cent has no mint mark. So why the mystery? Because within the sea of ordinary coins, collectors began reporting strange anomalies. Missing details in Lincoln's hair, die cracks running across the fields, doubled images in the lettering, Tiny imperfections that transformed a simple cent into something more than face value. And here's where the story takes a darker turn. While true collectors hunted for genuine errors, the internet spun a different tale. Headlines shouted, "Your 2012 no-mint mark penny could be worth $1 million. Sounds exciting, right? Except, it wasn't true. No reputable auction house ever sold a 2012 penny for anywhere near that number. But once that seed of possibility was planted, the myth grew, and thousands of hopefuls began digging through their coins, convinced their jackpot was waiting in plain sight. Let's pause. Have you ever felt that little spark? That thrill that maybe, just maybe, you're holding something priceless and you don't even know it yet? That's the emotional trap this story plays on. The fear of missing out. The dream of striking gold in a pile of copper-plated zinc. And it's powerful because sometimes it does happen, just not in the way the headlines promise. So what's real? Let's pull back the curtain. The truth is, ordinary 2012 no-mint mark Lincoln cents are worth exactly 1 cent. Spend them. Save them. Stack them. There's no fortune hiding there. But error coins? That's a different world. A dramatic die crack slicing across Lincoln's portrait could bring in $10, maybe $20. A doubled die with sharp, visible doubling on "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." Now you're talking $50, maybe $100 in the right marketplace. Still a long way from $1 million, but far better than a penny. Here's where it gets even more intriguing. The real winners are the coins in pristine, untouched condition. High-grade examples, slabbed by professional grading services, can fetch surprising premiums. A 2012 cent in mint state 67 red can sell for well over $100. And if you climb into the near-perfect ranks of 68 or higher, you've stepped into the realm of serious collectors, where competition is fierce and prices spike. Not life-changing wealth, but certainly not pocket change either. Now, imagine for a moment the person who reads that viral post, believes the $1 million myth, and rushes to list their penny online for $50,000. They wait, and they wait. No buyers. Because deep down, collectors know the truth. And when the dream finally shatters, disappointment hits hard. That's the painful lesson. Believing the myth costs nothing at first, but it robs you of the real opportunities right in front of you. But here's the twist most people miss. The treasure isn't just in finding one coin. It's in learning to recognize value where others don't. The hobby of coin collecting has always rewarded knowledge. It's the quiet power of spotting an error others overlook, grading a coin others dismiss, understanding the marketplace better than the dreamers chasing unicorns. That's how real wealth builds. Not in one shocking $1 million payday, but in steady discoveries that add up. So ask yourself, will you be the person waiting for a fairy tale that never arrives? Or will you be the sharp eye that turns everyday finds into real, tangible gains? Because make no mistake, the 2012 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is not your golden ticket. But it can be the doorway into a hobby, a business, or even a side hustle that consistently delivers rewards to those who play it smart. And here's the final secret. The reason these myths keep resurfacing year after year is because we want to believe them. We crave the story where life changes overnight, where fortune hides in the mundane. It's a beautiful dream, but dreams don't pay bills. Knowledge does. So the next time you see a penny without a mint mark, don't imagine yachts and mansions. Imagine possibility. Imagine sharpening your eye, growing your collection, and maybe, just maybe, uncovering the kinds of coins that really can change your financial future. Not with a bang of impossible millions, but with the quiet, steady truth that knowledge is the real treasure. And that's the mystery unraveled. The 2012 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, ordinary at first glance, fascinating up close, dangerous if misunderstood. Now you know the myth. Now you see the reality. The only question left is this: which story will you choose to believe? One coin catches your eye. It looks ordinary at first. A simple Lincoln 1-cent piece dated 2013. But then you notice something strange. There's no mint mark, and your heart skips a beat. Could this be it? Could this be the coin everyone online whispers about? The one that some claim is worth millions? But wait, is it really a hidden fortune? Or just another penny in disguise? This is the mystery that has captivated thousands of hopeful treasure hunters across the country. Stories circulate of coins found in pocket change, instantly turning everyday people into overnight millionaires. The myth of the 2013 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is one of the most talked about tales in modern coin collecting. But the truth? The truth is far more surprising, and maybe even more valuable than the myth itself. Let's rewind for a moment. Every Lincoln cent should have a mint mark. Denver, Philadelphia, San Francisco, a small letter stamped into the coin that tells you exactly where it was made. But in 2013, many collectors noticed something odd. Pennies with no mint mark. Whispers began to spread. Was this a mistake? A rare error slipped past the mint's watchful eyes? Or was this intentional? A modern mystery planted in plain sight. Here's where the story takes a twist. For decades, the Philadelphia Mint traditionally did not place a mint mark on Lincoln cents. That means a 2013 cent with no mint mark isn't an error at all. It's normal. Billions were produced exactly that way. And yet, the internet did what the internet always does. A single spark of speculation grew into wildfire. Rumors swirled that one missing letter could mean a life-changing payday. Videos promised shocking million-dollar auctions. Listings popped up online, where sellers asked for tens of thousands of dollars for a penny anyone could still find in circulation. So, is it all just hype? Here's where things get interesting. While the no-mint mark itself isn't rare, some 2013 pennies do carry genuine errors, the kind collectors crave. Double die obverse errors where Lincoln's features appear slightly doubled. Off-center strikes that give the coin a dramatic, almost surreal look. Die cracks that split the coin's surface like lightning bolts frozen in copper. These mistakes are real, they are collectible, and yes, they can be valuable. But, and here comes the hard truth, valuable doesn't mean millions. A dramatic double die from 2013 might fetch $50, maybe $100, depending on condition. A pristine off-center strike could sell for a few hundred more. Even the most impressive examples rarely break into the thousands. And those mythical million-dollar sales? Pure fantasy, clever marketing, wild exaggeration, and the endless human desire to believe in sudden riches. Now pause for a moment. Think about that. Why do so many people cling to the dream of a penny turning them into a millionaire? Because deep down it taps into something universal. The thrill of discovery. The hope that the ordinary objects in our pockets could hold extraordinary secrets. And yes, the dream of freedom. Freedom from bills, from debt, from the weight of financial struggle. That dream is powerful. Keeps us searching. Keeps us hopeful. But here's the twist most people never expect. The real treasure isn't in chasing myths. It's in learning how to separate fact from fantasy, how to spot genuine rarity hiding in plain sight. The collector who knows what to look for, the subtle doubling, the clean strike, the mint state condition, that's the person who finds value where others see only loose change. And those who fall for hype? They're left holding a jar full of pennies and broken promises. So where does this leave the 2013 no-mint mark penny? If you have one, you're not holding a million-dollar ticket. You're holding a piece of American history, a coin that tells the story of myths born in the digital age. In the right condition, with the right error, it might bring you some extra cash, $100, maybe a few $100s. But if you're dreaming bigger, the hard truth is this: it won't make you rich. And yet, here's the final surprise. Sometimes the true value of a coin isn't in its price tag. It's in the story it carries, the mystery it ignites, and the way it fuels our imagination. Because the moment you pull that 2013 penny from your pocket and wonder, could this be the one? That feeling, that spark of hope, is priceless. So the next time you hear whispers of $1 million penny, remember this story. Myths can mislead, but knowledge can guide. The world of coins is filled with secrets waiting to be uncovered, just not always the ones you expect. And who knows? Maybe the real fortune isn't in finding $1 million penny. Maybe it's in knowing the truth when others chase illusions. And maybe, just maybe, your next coin hunt will uncover something far rarer than hype, the satisfaction of discovering value where nobody else thought to look. Now tell me, if you found that 2013 penny today, what would you see? A worthless cent? Or the spark of a story you'll never forget?